This is called The Troublemaker by my friend Matt. Now, he's not the troublemaker, but he's got two kids, a son and a daughter. And anyone else have a set of children where one's like the behaved one and one is the rebellious one? And you instinctively, as a father, you give attention to keep the rebellious one in order and lined up. Meanwhile, the one that's behaved is like, what's up? I'm going to read you a quote from Matt, and this is in the blog. This is to the point where the rebellious one gets so much attention that the daughter asks this question: if he doesn't get his orange belt and I do, you'll help him feel better, but will you also be happy for me too? Ouch. I want to share 3 stories and give 1 resource. 4 stories, actually. All right. The first story is my own personal family, 5 kids. My 2 oldest kids are literally those behaved ones. My middle child is the rebellious one. And younger ones, I'm yet to discover which they are. And we as parents instinctively would spend more time on the rebellious one to keep them lined up and in order. And it does give the imagery and the example to the older kids, like, but we're doing so good, why are they getting the attention? And what happens is the rebellious one will keep being rebellious because all he wants is attention. So I'll do the resource first. To fix this, all you have to do is go buy Dr. Kevin Leman's book, Have a New Kid by Friday. Dr. Kevin Leman, Have a New Kid by Friday. Incredible. I will link that book in the blog, in the write-up for this. Highly recommend it. You just go through that. It'll teach you how to fix the rebellious boy or girl so that they line up more with what your boundaries and parenting style is for your family. Now, let me just give a slightly different perspective on this. We want to keep him in line with what mom and dad says goes kind of approach. Let me share with you a couple stories. Okay, the first one is actually 2 are from movies that star Brad Pitt when he was a young guy. The first movie, many have probably seen it. It's A River Runs Through It. There's 2 brothers, Paul, that's the Brad Pitt character, and Norman. And these 2 brothers, you could just see it in their personality and the things that unfold in this movie. Where Norman, the older brother, responsible, does everything by the book. The whole movie, he's just like the model son. And Paul, he's the rebellious, risk taker, the gambler, gets himself into trouble, and he keeps and the family keeps giving him all the attention, sticking up for him, saving his butt. And meanwhile, Norman he's so frustrated because why is he like this? And you see as the movie goes on that the conservative brother ends up having a conservative life, while the rebellious one ends up having a very adventurous life. Okay, now watch this. The second movie, The Rebellious Son, is also Brad Pitt. Legends of the Fall. I love this movie. This is the one where all the women thought Brad Pitt was, whatever. But the actual movie is really good. 3 brothers. The youngest brother, Samuel, he gets killed early, so we'll just leave him out of it. Tristan is the Brad Pitt character, and Alfred. Alfred's the older brother. Alfred's like the straight edge, straight as a pencil, does everything by the book, becomes the lawyer, becomes the politician. Tristan is like the bear wrestler, the risk taker. The women always fall for him. He's got the sense of adventure, rebellious. He gets all the attention. Okay. Again, same ending. Alfred ends up having a life that's conservative. He's not really happy. Tristan, he dies wrestling a bear. And he has this life full of adventure and excitement, and he loves his life. Now, I'm not advocating, either one, but I'm making a connection that, let me tell you the third story. The third story I really like, and for those that are people of faith, just going to read this. In the book of Luke, chapter 15, Story of two sons. You'll know it as the prodigal son. Now, two brothers. One is the Alfred character, the Paul character, who's like perfect, does everything dad wants him to do, takes care of the flocks and takes care of the house and everything. The younger brother, who's like the Tristan or Paul, he takes off. He's like, Dad, give me all my inheritance now. I don't want to wait till you die. I want money now. Dad's like, okay, gives him his money, and he goes and does like the Paul Tristan thing, goes out and squanders all his money, and ends up in a mud pit with pigs. He's like, maybe that wasn't so smart. He comes back crawling on his knees, essentially, and the father welcomes him back open arms and does everything for this rebellious son. The older brother, the Paul, the Alfred, I'm not the who was it, Norman or the Alfred? He's like, Dad, what is up? Like, I've been perfect for you, and you don't do anything. You don't give me all this stuff. And I love this quote. It's at the end of this chapter. Here's what the dad says. His father said to him, Look, dear son, you have always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found. I think this is a beautiful illustration of a father to these two boys. So the father let him have the adventure. I mean, would he have let the older son have the adventure? He sure would have. The older son didn't have as much adventure in him. He was more conservative. Some of our kids are going to be, I believe there's adventure in the heart of every boy. But some boys are going to be more risk takers and more willing to go out and do it. I think as a parent, that although we want to keep them tied in our box of do this, I think it's also dangerous to put them in too much of a box. If they're conservative, that's great. They're going to behave and they'll be perfect little kids, right? But we want to still encourage that adventure, that Tristan. We want to try and pull that Tristan out of them. And if they are the Tristan, encourage that. Use the have a new kid by Friday to reel them in a little bit. But don't take that edge away from them, because they're the ones that are going to have a life of adventure and an amazing life of happiness, fulfillment. They're going to be the world changers. So don't steal that away from them. That father let him go. The prodigal son, he let the prodigal son go and figure stuff out. And I believe in the end, in all three of these stories, it's the one that was adventurous and the risk taker that seems to have the life of fulfillment. So hold back, dads, from tightening too much, but still use the resources and find a balance.